and from Turkey we went to Greece by boat as refugees, and then we crossed the borders between Greece and Macedonia, and then from Macedonia we went to Serbia. Uh, of course, we crossing the borders with no papers, illegally, because we have lost our passports.
Hi guys, you're welcome to Time with Steven. Thanks once again for joining me. On today's episode, I'll be speaking with Mahmoud, a civil engineer in Denmark. I'm also right here in Denmark. We're gonna get to hear about his story, how he moved to Denmark, the challenges he's had, his best experiences, and all that. Kindly stay with me throughout this video. Hi Mahmoud, welcome to Time with Steven.
Hi, Steven, how are you? Thanks.
Which part of Denmark are you speaking from, and how long have you been in Denmark?
I speak from a town next to the capital, Copenhagen. It's called Hvidovre, and I have been in Denmark since 2015. So almost now, I complete my 8 years in November.
Let's get to know you. Um, you are from Syria, Damascus to be precise. Tell
Yes.
us how you moved from Syria to Denmark.
Yes, in 2011, Syrian revolution has started, and there was it was peaceful in the beginning, and then it convert to be a civil war. In 2015, I have decided with my brother to leave Syria because many reasons, and we went to Turkey, and from Turkey we went to Greece by boat as refugees, and then we crossed the borders between Greece and Macedonia, and then from Macedonia we went to Serbia. Uh, of course, we crossing the borders with no papers, illegally, because we have lost our passports when we have arrived to Greece. Then from Serbia we have crossed the borders into Hungary, and from Hungary we crossed the borders to Vienna, and then until we arrived to Denmark. It was not the best trip that we have. It was like a very hard one because we have to walk many hundred of kilometers between the borders. We have to take the risk to take the boat also with 70 people between Turkey and Greece. It was a lot of, let's say, challenges we have in our way until we arrived to Denmark, but in the end, we make it and we arrived to Denmark, me and my brother, as
Okay,
we planned.
we're gonna go back on your journey. But prior to moving to Denmark, what did you hear about Denmark? Did you had friends over here? I mean, what exactly did you hear about Denmark that made you decide Denmark was gonna be our destination since this war has started?
Yes, actually, there is many factors. One of them is that Denmark is peaceful country, and this is what we miss in Syria, actually, a peaceful life. Uh, Second is the freedom of the speech. Here, there is a lot or very huge part of speech freedom. You cannot compare it to any country in the other world. So Denmark is top one in that. And then the stability as a country. Denmark is a stable country, meaning that you cannot see a lot of problems or political issues where Denmark is involved. That's why it's always a peaceful country.
Okay.
Yeah,
So, mhm, go on.
yeah, yes, sorry. And the also there is a third thing is about the Danish people speak English. So it was, let's say, the majority of the Danish people speak English very well. So it was easy for
Mhm,
us to go to Denmark and communicate in the beginning by using the English language.
mhm.
So, and education here is very good also. So many factors actually make Denmark attractive as a country for young uh, people like me and my brother.
Okay. So you took this challenging journey with your brother. Did you leave the rest of your family back home?
Yes, my father and my mother stay home. They didn't. They didn't want to leave the country. They want to stay in Damascus
Wow.
because they have
Despite
they
the
have
work.
yeah, because they have their all their friends, all their family, all their memories over there. So for them, it was impossible to leave the country. And then I have
Oh.
older brothers also
Mhm.
who they have children there, and their children go to schools and they have their own work and their own business. So they decide also to stay in the country, taking the risk that
Wow.
it's a war zone, and but they have taken that risk on their own. But for me and my brother, it was very hard because also we were asked to be part of the military service, so we declined the military service. We we decide that we should not be part of the war in anyhow, and that is actually the main reason why we actually left the country.
Okay. So you were describing your journey, and at some point you said you had to walk for hundreds of kilometers. I
Yes,
mean, tell us about this journey. Um, how challenging was it, and what were some of the issues you had to go through throughout the journey?
yes. The one of the challenges was like uh, the boat between Turkey and Greece. It is a small rubber boat. Maybe you have seen that in the news, where
Yeah.
there is a lot of refugees taking the boat. The boat should be only for 20 person, but they put 70, 75 people inside.
Oh.
And we have to take the boat through the sea between Turkey and one of the Greek islands for 1 hour. And then we arrive. We were not lucky because we arrived to the part of the island, the Greek island, where there is no cities. So we have to walk around the island to arrive to the main city, where we can take the ferry to the Greece capital, Athens. Then we have to walk around 100 kilometers in 1 day just to arrive there because it was not legal for any taxi or any bus to take
Mhm.
us as a passengers. But we make it. We arrive to Athens, and after that, we take the bus to the borders with Macedonia, and from there we have to walk through the borders illegally. Of course, we get a help from the police of Macedonia. They try to
Okay.
organize it a little bit, but we have to walk through the country. Then when we arrive to Serbia, we have also to walk again, and it was very hard because uh, no bus, no trains, nothing like no taxi. So and Serbia is very big country, but we were lucky. Some local people try to help us, and we find a bus until Beograd, the capital of Serbia, and then we take bus to the Hungarian, let's say, borders, where we have also to walk and avoid the Hungarian police and control. We try our best to do that because the Hungarian police was like actually not helpful towards the refugees,
Mm.
especially the one coming from Middle East.
Okay.
Uh, then we succeed uh, with passing the borders between Serbia and Hungary, and then we arrived to Budapest. And the next step was to go through the borders between Hungary and Austria. And yeah, we we take the bus until the border. There was a benzene station before the border where we ask some people like to give us a ride to the other side of the border with out telling them that we are actually refugees because it is not legal to take refugees through the borders. But the Austrian police has stopped us and in the control or checkpoint, and they asked us about our papers, and actually we didn't have our papers because we lost that. So they stop us, and then they ask about us about our destination, and we told them that it is Denmark. Then they say,
Yeah.
yes, it's you can take the train, and it was at that time in 2015 a big wave of refugees coming from Middle East because of the war in Syria. So they allowed us to go to Germany and Denmark and Sweden and so on. So we arrived to Denmark, and then we let's say we slept in one of my friend's apartments, and in the second day we went to the Red Cross seeking for, let's say, help and support from them. Of course, they communicate to the integration police here in Denmark, and we get some temporary papers, and they move us first to the north of Zealand and then to the south of uh, 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 Denmark, where it's very close to the border with Germany. And then in
Mm.
November, or actually in December, 20 December, directly before the Christmas, we get the right to stay in Denmark. And they help us also to find a rent in south of Copenhagen. And that is the journey. Of course, it's a long one and very risky. Many people has done that. People, I saw people with children, people with their old mom and dad. They also did this journey. People with one leg. I saw one man
Wow.
with one leg. Yeah, so it was a life experience. To be honest, we learn a lot. Me and my brother,
Mhm.
like about the life and appreciate the life. So that's it.
Yeah. After going through all these tough times and finally getting your residency, how was the feeling?
Of course, like you feel like you are safe for the first time in maybe in your life. This is how I feel it. I
Okay.
feel that I am safe for the first time in my life because this is not a war zone. There is
Yeah.
no one, let's say, searching for you to go to the army or to because you are speaking against someone uh, and they don't want you to speak or to publish in Facebook or in Twitter about the situation in Syria. So for the first time, I feel the real freedom. I feel the
Wow.
democracy. The I feel also the freedom of the speech for the first time.
Okay.
As you know, there is human rights that we don't have
Yeah.
in my country. One of the first human rights, actually, this is a really interesting story about them. Because the first one is to have food and water. The second one is to have the freedom of the speech. The third one is to have a roof on top of your head. So imagine the freedom of speech is more important than having a roof on top of your head. So that's something that I didn't feel in Middle East, but I can uh, totally say, and I will be that we have it here in Denmark, and I enjoy it and practicing this in Denmark also.
Okay. So you finally got your residency. Tell us the process or the ranks you had to go through to become a civil engineer in Denmark.
Yes, so I have studied as a civil engineer in Syria
Okay.
and a master degree. Then I have to actually apply for something called assessment of my engineering diploma. It was very fast because here they were like really supportive. Uh, Also, I was lucky because when we arrived to Slovakia, to south of Copenhagen, one of my neighbors knocked the door. It was Christmas time, and she said hello to us. And she was working in the engineering industry. So she asked me about my, let's say, my education, and I told her that I am an engineer, civil engineer. And she asked me if I know some softwares that engineers use called AutoCAD and Revit. I say yes, I know. And then she introduced me to an engineer afterwards who worked in that area with one man office, let's say one man company. And he tested me and he liked me, he liked my work, and then we worked together. But then I start to know the industry here in Denmark and
Mhm.
start to know the people who start to tell me that it is a good idea to have, let's say, education from Denmark,
Okay.
especially to focus on the project management. That is actually very useful. Then I apply for two universities, one called Denmark Technical University, DTU, another
Mhm.
one called Danish or actually Copenhagen Working Academy. And because the one in or the one called Denmark Technical University was so far away from where I live, and Copenhagen Working Academy was closer, so I choose to study in Copenhagen Working Academy, and I study project management over there, and then through that education, I found work in Metro, a company where they build and construct metro stations and provide trains and uh, full railway project. And I worked there for 5 years, and now I'm moving to a new project or a new company called Denmark Trains, which is the biggest company here. Uh,
Wow.
it's called Denmark Railway, and I will be responsible for part of the design of these trains. So the education was really useful in Denmark. It was not easy, but it is really interesting because you learn a new way of, let's say, new methods about how to build stuff different from the engineering methods used in my country. But it is really, really interesting. Yes, where we use also more technology the computer aid is used very much here in Syria because let's say the workers or the work hand is cheap, so you will not use the computer. But here, because it is very expensive, you will use more computer aid programs and softwares. So it was a big, let's say, change, even in the engineering methods.
Okay, so throughout your education and acquiring a job, uh, did the Danish language had to play a role throughout these parts, or you
Uh,
didn't really have to rely on the Danish language?
um, yes and no. Like yes, because it's important because you live in Denmark and you should use this language. You should learn the Danish language. You should use it with your daily life. But during the education, because I choose to study in the international lines, which is using English all the time, it was easy to avoid, let's say, using the Danish language. But I was trying and working on, let's say, learning the Danish language. It's not easy. It's one of the hardest languages, actually, for me, personally at least. But then, when we go to work environment, of course, it's good if you have speak Danish, but it's not necessary, especially if you work with international companies where there is a lot of people who speak English all the time. More in Denmark, all the companies who work like in engineering, big infrastructure projects, let's say, and big IT projects, they use English as main language even in the main offices, meaning that you don't need to use any other language except English. So that's why it was easy for me because I didn't face the problem that a lot of people has faced when they search for a job and start to speak Danish. My colleagues, of course, the Danish ones, they pushed me to speak Danish, but it was hard because they have many accents, and for me it was hard to understand some accents from the east or the west side of Denmark and the south also. But let's say I managed without focusing so much on the Danish language. Of course, I learn it, I can read, but I cannot speak that good. And that because I cannot practice. I don't practice. You spend all the day speaking English with your colleagues, with your clients, with your contractors. No time actually to speak Danish. So that's why it was not improved by time.
Congratulations on the role, on your new job.
Thank you
What
very
has been
much.
the most
Thank you.
important skill or the most important advantage you've had that has enabled you to, as a foreigner, of course, to get to such position?
Working hard because actually I was working very hard to show to the people that I'm able to deliver what is required from me, uh, and take the responsibility and be proactive all the time. Consider this project as my project. So when I was searching for solutions for any construction issues we have during in the project time, I consider this project is my project. I try to be proactive, avoiding these problems from appearing or risking the progress of uh, of the project. So I really spend time, overtime, and sometimes I stay until 6, 7 because first is I enjoy the work. I study for that for many years, and then I have the opportunity to, let's say, to use my education in this work. So I really enjoy it. It was my passion. So I didn't see any, let's say, disadvantage of spending extra time. Even like my managers here in Denmark, they say for me it is I should have the balance, because as you know in Denmark there is a rule about that we should find always the balance between the life and
Yeah.
between the work.
Right.
There is a rule also that we have to work only 37 hours per week, not like Middle East where you have to work like 5 days, 6 days per week, 12 hour every day. So here it was more, let's say, active and more balanced life. That's good, but I want to spend more time to learn something new, to focus on something new, to feed my passion about engineering work, about railway. So I was working hard, and every people has appreciate my work. They see the quality in my work. They see that I am proactive, always, always avoiding clashes in the project, always avoiding uh, to have any extra cost in the project, keeping the project on time, keeping the project on budget. So that actually was nice. You know, you dream about work and you get your work that you always dream about it,
Yeah.
then you will spend your energy, you will spend your time on it. So that's what I did. And when I get the opportunity to in a Danish railway company, they ask some people who I worked with them before, and they have moved to that company before me, and they told them that yes, we know him. He's very hard worker. He's very good. He's always proactive, and of course, we should always be polite with each other, even it is a tough business where there is a lot of problems from site, problems from designs, problems with the contractors, delays, whatever. But you have always to be polite with each other. So, and here we can say that the Danish work environment is really good in doing that. Everyone is appreciating the other work. Even there is a problem, yes, but we don't take it personally. Also, the the life balance here is very very important and very good, because you can see the people is actually active all the time. They are not so much tired. They have 5 weeks of holidays per year, so they always charge themselves with energy, with power, and you can see them active because, of course, they have relaxed and they have recharged their batteries to spend more energy on work, which is very good. This thing you cannot see outside Denmark. This is only in Denmark, and that's why actually this is a very important reason of the success of Denmark in everything. Like Denmark is the happiest country in the world. Denmark is or Copenhagen is the best city in the world, of course, because the life balance, the culture in the work, the people support is really excellent. Not good, but excellent.
Okay, so luckily for you, you discovered your passion and you are currently doing what you actually love. A lot of people are watching us who've not discovered their passion. Some are doing jobs that they aren't really happy about. Uh, what tips do you have for someone who hasn't discovered their passion?
First, there is no late time to take a new education. Uh, it is. important from the beginning that you choose education that it fit your skills. Don't listen to the family about education because many people actually taking their education line because their family wants that. They have maybe very bad advice from their parents, but they have to choose themselves the education line. And the people who didn't find their passion yet, find it, see your skills, ask people for advice. Uh, Go to university. There is advisors in university. They will guide you. They will teach you what is the best specialization for you. And then there is no late time for taking education again. Take the education because education is very important, especially if you decide to move from country to another country in the future. This diploma, this certificate will stay with you, will help you also to get job in the new country. So it will open a lot of, let's say, closed door in your career. So education, education, and education. It's very
Okay.
important to start in any country. Even like you have PhD, but and you move to USA, or you move to Canada, or you move to Japan. It's always good to have education related to your passion, because of course every country has its own way of doing projects, doing job, doing work. Uh, I was in Middle East where we do work in, as I told you, in different way because the hand or the hand workers is very cheap, so we don't use so much, let's say, computer aid. Different here, like we use computer aid in everything almost. In another country, it's just different way. So always you can get that from education. Additionally to that, education will increase the network. Like through the network, you have it from education. Your friends, your colleagues will help you to find job, to tell you about, okay, there is opportunity over there. Let's apply together, or just go and apply. They will try to help you, to support you, and this is what friends do. So education is very important, and it is the door for everything in a new country.
Okay. For 8 years having lived in Denmark, what would you say has been the hardest part about living in Denmark?
Uh, there is two problems in Denmark. Not problems, but there are challenges, and sometimes if you don't solve them, they will become problems. The first one is housing. I was in 8 years or 5 years in a waiting list for a apartment, and I didn't get anything. Then I have to go to the private sector to rent apartment, which is more expensive than if you go through a housing company. So it is really challenging, and you will spend a lot of money. You will spend a lot of energy for searching for apartment, and in the end, like it will not be very close for from your work, especially in Copenhagen area where is really is expensive and there is not very much apartments for rent. But if you go more like, let's say, far away from the center, uh, you will find. But again, it's not cheap, even it is far away from the center. The second problem is or challenge, which will maybe become problem, is uh, Danish language. Of course, you should learn the Danish language because there is a lot of people who came to Denmark and they cannot find actually job because their job required a Danish language
Right.
or Danish speaking. For example, I get married last year from a doctor. Also, she's from Syria,
I guess.
And thank you very much. The first requirement for her work in
Mm-hmm.
Denmark that she has to speak fluently the Danish language because she should use that in the hospital. I can understand for doctors, for example, because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when there is a patient or a sick person, he will be referred to speak his local language to
Yeah.
explain about the pain or what is his issue. But when it comes to some works, is I don't know. I see it is a really complex to require Danish language because you can run it also with English, but I don't know. There is a very hard requirement about that, and some people like fail to find job because they cannot speak the language, especially the people who came to here searching for job from let's say outside Europe or even from Europe. It is easier for the Swedish and Norwegian because it is very close language between Scandinavian language, so they can
Yeah.
do it better. But even they have a challenge. There is also something annoying. It's not challenge or it's about the paper process to renew the visa and get the permanent residence and the citizenship. You have very hard rules from the government here about getting a permanent residence. For me, like I am non-European citizen, so I have to wait 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
I have to work in the last years for 3.5 year full with no stopping at all, and your income should be more than 500,000 half
Wow.
million kron per year, which is a lot. Also, you have to pass Danish language test level C1, which is very high level. And additional to that, the waiting time is very long. It will take, like for example, for the permanent residence, around 11 months, and for citizenship, it will take between
Oh.
2 years to 4 years. And if you are lucky, you will be 2 years, of course. But if you are not lucky, it will take 4 years. And if you get, let's say, a speed ticket, you should
Mm-hmm.
forget about it. Like it will increase like 4 or 5 years more. So it's a
Wow.
really very hard rules here, especially when after 2015, when the right wing of the politicians in Denmark win the election and they took the government. They call them here in Denmark the Blue Party. The Blue Parties actually make very hard law against the refugees, against everyone coming from outside Denmark, because they said that they are protecting Denmark in their way. But actually, it was like let's say the rise of the right in whole Europe, because we can see the same in France, we can see the same in Italy, we can see the same in Sweden, where they make a lot of laws against the refugees, against people from outside the EU, and you cannot find the reason why they did that because they just do it because to win the election because they want to get the vote. They start to make very wrong propaganda against the people who coming from outside Europe, that telling that these people are coming here to take your jobs, taking here to take your education, your healthcare, and so on. But this is not true because these people are working. They want to work. They want to give. So the rules here is very hard. Even now that the government has been changed, and now we have, let's say, more left parties in the government, but still the rules is the same, very restricted rules, and it will not be better as I see in the future also. But then we have to be careful with everything we do. Every time we drive the car, we have to be careful that we don't even like go over the speed limit by 1% because you don't know when you will be unlucky. Uh, and we don't know the law because we have not been onboarded well and actually to know all the laws because the Danish people know the laws because their parents told them do that. But for us, when we came here to Denmark, we know only the
Mm.
basics. We don't
Yeah.
go in the details of the law, and here is the problem because not knowing the details of the law, many rights uh, for us has been disappeared because
Mhm.
we don't know if we have that right or not. No one told us, and we will not know until we have the problem. Oh, you have that right, but okay, no one told me. Okay, you should ask. Okay, but how you know about the rights? Oh, my father told me before. Okay, but no one told me here. I'm new here. I'm new in Denmark. So how I will know? And this is, for example, problems will go for just to bring example here about taxes because you will get some tax reduction for if you go to work by car or by train more than 12 kilometer in every direction. So the taxes will pay back for you. Of course, if you don't know, the tax will not pay for you because you didn't
Yeah.
apply for that. And then you will hear about it from your friend, but then it will be very hard and very long process to ask for your rights. This is your right,
Mhm.
and you don't know, and you will go through a lot of let's say long process, very long and very hard process where it require a lot of time just to let's say taking the rights that you didn't know about it.
Yeah.
And this
Yeah.
is a challenge that we have it here as people from outside Denmark.
Okay, so a follow-up question will be, what has been the best part about living in Denmark?
Uh, speech, freedom of speech. Like here, you can have like you can say what you want. This is something that I didn't, let's say, practice in my country. Also, the work culture here is very nice because even though in the work, you can have the freedom of the speech with your manager, with your boss. You can tell him, okay, this is how I see this thing should be done. And this is something we don't have, for example, in Middle East. They have here more flat organization, meaning that you can talk to your manager as a friend, as a colleague. You can even talk to his manager as a friend and as a colleague. But in Syria, no, everything should go in one, let's say, one line. You should go to your manager, and your manager will go to his manager, and so on. No, here is a flat organization, meaning everyone is has the rights and the freedom to speak and speak up to make the work better and the life better, and even about your uh, political opinions. It's not just about work, but political opinions also. You can speak, but of course, again, with respecting the others and respecting that maybe the others has a different opinion, or different speech. So that's very important here, and this is something I like so much about Denmark. Like everyone, even they are not aligned in opinions, but they are respecting each other.
Right. Okay, so moving to Denmark, you left your family back there. With your experiences and all that you know now, with hindsight, would you say leaving Syria was the right decision?
For me, yes, it was the right decision because I have
Okay.
found all the support from Denmark and from the Danish people here. They adopt me as engineer. They give me education. They grow up my skills. They use the skills in the right way, and they try to support me even with the Danish language, which is really hard, but they try. Uh, there is democracy. There is a freedom of speech that I didn't practice in my country. The first freedom election I make it here in Denmark, where even like if I'm not Danish, but you can actually, if you live more than 5 years in Denmark, you can go to the city council election.
Okay, so let's have discussion about traveling. What has been the best destination out of Denmark for you so far?
Spain. Spain is very nice. The people in Spain are very kind. Also, uh, they have like this special thing, really, in communication. They are helpful. They try to support. They try to help. Even they don't speak sometimes English, but by their body language, you can understand them, even if you don't speak Spanish. Actually, I have very nice experience from Spain. So, and from
Oh,
the Danish people, I should say, they are really nice people. Um, yeah, so not all the countries is the same actually, but mostly all the people I met, I was lucky about that. They are nice. There is some people like, of course, some countries where I didn't have very nice experience. Um, yeah, there is something strange also, something maybe out of my, let's say, uh, understanding. For example, when I went to Netherlands, everyone smoked marijuana and drugs, and I found that very strange because how they can do that in the streets, you know, or how they it's legal to sell cookies with drugs. Yeah, that is very strange for me. I was really afraid. I don't know, it was normal for the people, but I was very afraid. Okay, the police will come in every minute, but no, no, it's really legally here. Okay,
yeah.
but it's very, really, very different and very strange. Of course,
Mhm.
some when you go also to Germany, that uh, people speak German, even they speak English very good. But when they are inside Germany, they speak German, and they you ask in English, they answer in German, and of course it's a very hard language also. So yeah, but they are very proud about being German.
Yeah.
In Hungary, they have not the best police. They are very aggressive. The police in Hungary,
Mm.
they are very aggressive. I can see that.
Wow.
During my journey here to Denmark, they were really aggressive against the refugees. Another countries like, for example, Greece, Macedonia, Serbia, they are really simple people, like really very nice, kind, very simple, very calm. Um, yes.
So we are wrapping up. And to wrap up, I always ask my guests one question, which is, what's been the most important lesson life has taught you that you want to share with the world?
The most important lesson that every person who want to start a new life in a new country, he should get education because education will open doors that it was closed. It will increase the network, and the network in a new country is very important. Through your friends, through your colleagues in university, in school, in course, whatever, they will introduce you to a new people, to new friends. and then you will have bigger and bigger network by time, and this network will help you to let's say to have a job, to have opportunities, not just one job, but opportunities to get many jobs.
Mahmoud, I truly appreciate your time and the wisdom shared on this platform. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thank you, my friend.
What an interesting and a tough journey Mahmoud has had. If you found this conversation interesting, kindly give this video a thumbs up and drop your comments below. My next guest is going to surprise you. See you on another episode.